with the people of the South, no matter how much you give, they triple in giving back. So they go for one day to check on their homes, they come back with gifts. The day they were leaving, they came and said, excuse us for anything that we have said that could have harmed you, or, you know. So they're just beautiful, beautiful people who just want to live in peace, who want to stay in their homes, you know. It's not the promised land, it's our home, our land, our heritage. And they don't want to leave that and walk away. That's kind of some of the people of the South: dignity, love, faith, and the will to live. They're incredible.
Welcome to the St. Martin's Cloak podcast, where we go behind the headlines to focus on humans, not statistics. On today's episode, we are bringing it back to where we all began. We're back in Lebanon, and with friend of the show, Imane Assaf, the co-founder and president of the local grassroots NGO Ahla Fawda. For the past 4 months since she appeared on the very first episode of our show, Imane and her team have been working relentlessly to continue providing aid to displaced people in Lebanon in the wake of a resumption of war. 4 months of conflict have taken their toll, and with talks underway of ceasefire negotiations at the time of recording, we wanted to get an update from Imane to understand the war and to understand the ceasefire from the perspective of people on the ground. But first, a quick introduction.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is Andrew Loftus recording from Istanbul.
And this is Milos Maggiore recording from London. So Andrew, back to the roots where it all began.
Yeah, this is coming off my very recent trip back to Beirut to interview Imane again, as well as members of her team with Ahla Fawda. And of course, that's how this entire journey started. And as we've been discussing recently, and we talk about with Imane in this interview, 5 or 6 days after the previous trip, the war in Lebanon resumed full scale. And so because of that timing, we maintained a relationship with Ahla Fawda, and we've been doing what we can to support their relief efforts over the last 4 months and to get the word out there. So then to go back now at this point was extremely meaningful. So Iman, thank you again for taking the time. And thank you again to all of the volunteers of Ahla Fawda who I spoke with in Beirut. It was truly an honor, and I really mean that. It was very meaningful to meet all of you in person after having heard so much about you from Iman. And I will note that I'm coming off a very strong cold right now, so I apologize for the sound of my voice, but it was important to us to get this message and this interview out there as quickly as we could.
No, you're sounding great. You're sounding great. But yes, to our listeners, I mean, hopefully everyone appreciates this. We got to do something quite rare in our coverage insofar as we got to revisit a previously covered organization. So if anyone missed our first interview with Imane, please go check it out. It's episode 1 of the very first one of our episode list, and in which we delve into the backstory, the creation, the general knowledge of Ahla Fawda. That's not something we're going to go into today's episode. Today's episode is more about, as you said, Andrew, looking at specifically how has the past 4 months affected both Imane herself, but also her team, the operations on the ground in Lebanon. And it's really been, as you said, a privilege to be able to talk to them again, but also a privilege to understand how these kind of impacts really affect the ability of an organization like Ahla Fawda to continue to operate.
Yeah, I mean, the people that we have spoken to recently and the episodes that we will put out there as quickly as we can, these are the people who are doing the real work on the ground. And two, as we talk about quite often, because it's important, one of our goals with this project is to tell the human stories behind the headlines, right? And I think with Lebanon in particular, especially right now, because of the ceasefire negotiations with America, with my own country, and Iran. Lebanon is dominating the headlines in a way that produces a lot of very distant mechanical political analysis and hot takes. And what we're trying to do here, and what I'm proud of, is featuring the Lebanese people themselves who are working on the ground, making a difference through humanitarian aid in response to a war in their country. I mean, these are the human stories, right? So it means a lot to hear from the people who are actually impacted by this.
Yeah, exactly. And we recorded the interview on the heels of the announcement of a ceasefire between the US and Iran, and consequently Lebanon as well. It seems to be the most credible push, certainly by the United States and also Iran, for a ceasefire. Lebanon is mentioned quite often, and so we talk about that with Iman quite substantively. You know, not only how the past 4 months of conflict have impacted her and her team, but also how the announcement of the ceasefire was received. And to your point about the human stories of this, I mean, this is just one part of the larger Lebanon coverage that we do in general, but also that you yourself conducted whilst going back to Beirut a couple of weeks ago. And so, to our listeners, there's a lot more Lebanon coverage coming out, including, the hearing the actual human stories from Iman's team. So stay tuned for that because it's gonna be some good material right there.
Yeah, just to give everyone a sneak peek. So, in addition to this most recent interview with Iman, we're putting out a short documentary on YouTube about Ahla Fawda and their aid efforts, the volunteers that we spoke with in Beirut. And then once that's up, we also plan to publish just the audio of those recordings on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, really to preserve those stories, I think, and those voices for the public historical record, which I think is very important as well. I think that's enough from us. It's certainly enough from myself. My voice is running on empty here, and we want the focus of this episode to be on uh, the stories that Iman shares with us. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you Iman. Awesome. Iman, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us once again. We last spoke in person, I think, exactly 1 week ago today at the Eco Hub, where I can see that you are at now. And I asked you how you felt after the last 4 months of war in Lebanon. And then on that same day, there was another so-called ceasefire announcement. So I just wanted to start off by asking you again how you are and how you're doing right now.
Surprisingly, I feel calm today. I think just the news that no more uh, attacks on the south is positive news. And the shelters that we look after, there's one of the shelters that had 1,500 people, has gone down from yesterday till today, down to 600. So people are hopeful. Uh, it's still scary because the intention is to destroy. So it's still scary, but let's hope for the best.
So it's great to see you again, Iman.
Likewise.
And last time you were on the show, you were our first guest, and that was obviously right before the resumption of the latest wave of violence for the past 4 months. And this may be difficult to recount, so go at what you're comfortable with, but we think it's important for the world to hear about the truth in Lebanon from the people in Lebanon themselves. So, can you recount a bit from your perspective what the last 4 months have been like, both for you and for the people of the country?
Absolute hell. We lived 4 months of trauma. Of course, you don't see it on the ground because we're all working, we're all trying to help each other to survive these 4 months. But we are kind of traumatized. This 4 months of uncertainty, when you will be attacked, are we going to become an occupation? It was very scary for months. Even now, even though now it's declared ceasefire and Trump is putting his foot down that, things have to change, it's a very thin line. So it is scary, but I said to Andrew before, I feel the shift. And for me, it wasn't a war. For me, it was a war, but it was a war of evil and good, you know. And the powers are still, I mean, this ceasefire is about superpowers sorting their problems among themselves, not really solving the problem on the ground. So for me, it's not a solution yet. For me, it's a temporary solution. This is how I see it.
I was in Beirut last week. Something that I've been thinking about since is how people left the Eco Hub and at least attempted to go straight back home, back to the South. And so I'm curious if that is even possible right now. You said at the start of this conversation that a number of people have left the shelters, but are people actually able to return home, or what is the situation right now in the South?
Just before we went on the call, I was speaking to Shaza, one of our volunteers from 2024, and now her father went to the village. It's a village near the borders, and he had to walk inside the village. Their house is completely destroyed, but they had to go check on their homes. And I said, "What is he going to?" She said, "There's no way we can go back to our house, but we have to find a way to go back to our village." So for the people, it's like, whether there is a house or no house, we have to find a way to go back to our villages, to our homes, and reestablish ourselves. How is the big question, but a lot of people went back. I mean, from 1,500 to 600 in one day, and some of these people, their homes are completely destroyed. They are looking for temporary shelters to rebuild their homes, and this has been the life of the people of the South for the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years, Destruction, rebuild, destruction, rebuild. It's a horrible routine. And I think they're exhausted from this routine, but it's still our villages, our homes, and this is where we belong.
And what are you hearing right now from the people that you know who have attempted to go back within the last 24 to 48 hours? Are they saying they think they're going to be able to stay this time?
They're planning to stay. They're planning to stay. It's like, first of all, it's very exhausting to live in a room with other 40 people that you don't know. So being home, even if they had to live in a tent in their land, it's their territory. They're on their own. It's where they belong. So on a dignity basis, this is where they feel they belong. This is where they're comfortable. So it's been 4 months of living with others, tension, because when you live with others that you don't know under war situation, it's a lot of stress. So for them, no matter what, this is where we belong, and we'll try to make it happen that we stay put where we are.
And now, this isn't the first time that you and Ahla Fawda obviously have provided aid to people. I mean, you've been doing this for many years throughout multiple wars. Um, has anything felt different about the current war and the impact it's having on you and your team?
Yes, as a team, one of our team lost her father last week. So we felt it was in-house, if you know what I mean. Of course, he wasn't shot, but he died of a heart attack due to the situation of moving backward and forward. So it brought it close to home, having Rita's dad pass away. But also, I mean, in 2024, there was more feeling of hope because they felt that Hezbollah will support them, will rebuild their homes, and there is like a plan B. This time, there is no plan B. Everybody is destroyed. Everybody is traumatized, and everybody is exhausted from these recurrent situations. So that feeling of depression, that darkness that we are living in, it's still there. But the last 2 days, knowing that they're able to go home, I saw a shift in the people. I mean, we had someone who moved back to the south the same day they said ceasefire when Andrew was here. And then the next day she returned because they started the, attacks again. But this time, it's different. This time, they feel that America is taking action to support the ceasefire. So that is giving like an element of security. America and Iran, that's signing whatever it is giving people assurance that this is it. This is the end for now.
Now, a week ago, I met a number of your team, your volunteers with Ahla Fawda at the Eco Hub, and it was an absolute honor to do so. They're incredible people. And a number of the volunteers that I met and spoke with or just worked next to are themselves displaced from the war. So I'm curious, how would you describe their motivations, their stories, and how that experience of being displaced impacts the work that they're doing?
The Eco Hub is really a holistic approach to community service or to community in general. So being here, being able to support one another, listening to the stories of the different people and the different traumas they went through has been a healing process for them and us. The Ahla Fawda family is growing, not in its team, in the people that have become part of this community interaction and engagement. So the displaced who have gone back, they're in touch with us on a daily basis. If they come to Beirut, they come immediately to say hello to us. They're waiting for us to visit them at their homes, like we're waiting for you for lunch. You have to come. So it has been this engagement, this partnership in the war has been healing to all of us. It has empowered us to overcome the daily stress because we had to look after the others, and by looking after the others, helped us to calm down and not to think about the war. So it's been very good for everybody involved, the displaced, the team, and the community in general.
And I wish that more people would have the opportunity to meet your volunteers. I was wondering if you could describe their character. Who are the type of people who, in these circumstances, and despite everything they've gone through, not for the first time in their lives, I'd still find a way to help people around them?
But there's this old gentleman that I think you met, Andrew, and spoke to you.
Yes.
And he's such a bubbly character. And I remembered him from 2024, the war in 2024. He came and we supported him in 2024. And he came back this time. And he's full of praise, full of positivity. And he came and said goodbye to us yesterday. He's gone back to the South. Um, there's Samira who was helping in the kitchen. It's like, please, Samira, we need some peace and quiet because she talks a lot. But she broke ice with some of the displaced because she's one of them. They felt comfortable to talk to her. She understood their background. She understood what they're going through. And she, her daughter, her son were with us on a daily basis. You met Rawan, the 14-year-old that I call Captain. She was really in charge of putting rules on, you stand here, I give you when I choose to give you. It's and we had so many different characters, and all these different characters uh shaped the 4 months that we went through. So in a way, we had more fun than grief by being together. you know we listened to stories, we laughed together, we cried together, we hugged. And also, what's very interesting, there are these people who come from a very close background. When you're in a village, all you know is the village lifestyle. And then you come to Beirut and you come to the Eco Hub, and in the Eco Hub, you have diversity of people. You have the real hippie, the real traditional, and it kind of opened their eyes that the world is bigger and that we are all equal, you know, because they come from a background where we're the victims and everybody is against us. When they were here and they saw the blend of the diversity of people, and when they saw that we are not from the south, but we are Lebanese caring for one another, it opened their eyes that we are not the enemy. We are together in this. And that was very important, especially for the young kids, because they grow up with this feeling that in the South, we are the victims. Nobody cares for us. We're the ones who are liberating Lebanon, which in a way it's true. But yes, we do care. Yes, we do stand with you. We are one family against all odds. So they saw this, they felt it. And that for me is very important because these kids will grow and will realize that not everything said is concrete. When you're exposed to other people, to other stories, you realize that the picture is much bigger than what we live. And for me, that was very important education for them and acceptance of the other. They didn't, that maybe some of them didn't have. So that was very important.
Mm. That's very empowering to hear, to be honest. And perhaps I'm going to ask you a question that perhaps you've already touched on, but when you think of all the work that you and your volunteers have accomplished over the past 4 months, the challenges they've overcome, and perhaps that shift in worldview that you mentioned, is there something that stands out as something you've done that you're most proud of over the past 4 months?
I am proud that I was able to do what I was able to do. I am proud that I was part of this journey. I was part of this experience with the people from the south, from the Bekaa, from the suburbs, and for them to realize that as Lebanese, we care for one another. We're not the enemy. Uh, I'm proud of every moment of the last 4 months, no matter how tragic it was or how joyful it was. It leaves its print on the whole team, you know. And even us among the team, some of us had reservations, but it all broke by meeting the people, getting to know the people, and sitting every day, sharing stories and laughing together was very important. I would have been very sad if I wasn't part of these 4 months because, you know, Lebanon is my journey. So if I wasn't there the last 4 months, I don't know what would have happened to me. So, yes, every moment was a joyful, meaningful moment for me.
And when Andrew came back from traveling to Lebanon most recently, a week ago, he told me how young a lot of the volunteers are. And I mean, really, young, driven people who, like you, that, they feel that mission in their bones. But when you think, of them and their place in the country, what kind of Lebanon is it that you would like them to grow up in for their future? They're at the start of their life. Where would you like them to go to next?
I'm so grateful that they were so young because the Lebanon I want them to learn, to appreciate, is the Lebanon that they saw here at the Ego Hub. That we are Christians, Muslims, Druze, uh, conservative, liberal, you know, the diversity that I'm very proud of Lebanon. They saw it in the Eco Hub, and it opened their eyes that, you know, that we're all equal. Especially a lot of them come from background that is very conservative, not only in religion basis on certain political beliefs. And it was important for them to realize that we all care for one another. We are all Lebanese, and these kids will grow up and do something, and they will always remember what happened in the Eco Hub. And I'm sure it will shape them. And I saw the changes. I saw the kids who came here very angry, very very outspoken about certain things that they shouldn't speak at their age. and the changes later on. You know, Fuad, the chef, is Christian. They in the beginning they were kind of reserved, and then they became best friends. They shared their stories with him. I'm not Muslim either. I'm Druze. They realized that we are equal. It doesn't matter what religion it is. We as Lebanese are equal. That fear of the other Lebanese disappeared
Hmm.
completely. That fear of they are different disappeared completely. Especially for the young, this was very important to feel that Auntie Iman, that's what they call me, Auntie Iman is there for us as we are there for her, you know? And I love that. I love that I was able to break that barrier, that we are all one unit, one unity caring for one another. And these young kids will grow up always remembering this. And I'm sure when they go back, no matter what is said to them, they've seen something else that will stay in their mind and will shape them. I hope so, anyway.
No, absolutely. It's interesting. This leads me to the next question. It's interesting how you talk about this bridging of the differences rather than creating this the emphasizing the differences. And I think one thing we've noticed, and we've talked about this before, in mainstream English language media, there is currently this distinction between north of Lebanon and the south of Lebanon. And you mentioned earlier, we talked about the south of Lebanon, which right now, again, in international media is talked from a distant political perspective. Um, can you talk to us a bit about the south, the land itself, the people in the south? Is there something that you'd like the world to know that isn't currently being communicated?
Before 2024, I didn't know much about the South. When you live in a country, you take it for granted that you'll always visit and see the places. And unfortunately, I, all my trips to the South were like humanitarian missions and short. Like I will go for a day, support certain communities, and come back. But in 2024, it was the direct connection with the people of the South. And I'm in love with them. They are full of dignity. They are full of hope, full of faith. It's never an angry moment. I mean, Shaza today was telling me how the house is burned down. And I said, Shaza, you're saying it with a smile. She said, my family are alive. They're okay. So, you know, we can rebuild our homes. This sums up the spirit of the people of the South. Their care for one another, their care for the land, their care to survive and to continue. It's beautiful. And I've worked with so many different communities in relief missions. And sometimes you get exhausted from the demands, like give me, give me, give me. With the people of the South, no matter how much you give, they triple in giving back. So they go for one day to check on their homes. They come back with gifts. The day they were leaving, they came and said, excuse us for anything that we have said that could have harmed you," or you know. So they're just beautiful, beautiful people who just want to live in peace, who want to stay in their homes. You know, it's not the promised land. It's our home, our land, our heritage. And they don't want to leave that and walk away. That's kind of some of the people of the South: dignity, love, faith, and the will to live. They're incredible.
Mon, continuing on that for a moment, I wanted to ask you about something that we discussed in person in Beirut, but I think it's very important for other people to hear. So, you told me a lot about how strong the spirit of humanity is in the entire country of Lebanon, as well as specifically within your team at Ahla Fawda. So, for people who have not had the opportunity to visit Lebanon before, or very specifically to meet your team in person, how would you describe their spirit?
The people of Lebanon are very welcoming and friendly people. So even in the darkest moments, everybody is welcome. Everybody can become part of the family journey. So it's never about them, it's about Come and see our country, how beautiful. Come and see, you know, the generosity, the hospitality. They're very welcoming people. They don't like to be alone. The more tourists come, the more the Lebanese are happy. And even in the last 4 months, it was a period of suspicion of some of the tourists coming in, but it never allowed that suspicion to um, reduce hospitality or to give the this unfriendly atmosphere. So for us, our doors are always open for anybody. Our country is beautiful. It's so diverse in weather, in people, in hobbies, in history. So it's a very special land and a very special people. And when it comes to humanity, uh, I remember speaking to someone from Gaza one time that how can you stay so strong in the midst of all this oppression? And he said, our unity. And in this war, I felt it as well. So humanity comes from people sticking together, helping each other. And no matter what are our differences, in time of crisis, we're always one unit helping one another.
I think that's a great note to start bringing this to a wind down. We don't want to take any more of your time. We know you're very busy, and we really want to thank you for taking the time to talking to us again. We've asked you this before, we'll ask it again. What's the best way for people listening to help you, to help Ahla Fawda, to help the mission that you are currently on?
Not very good at asking for help, but I really need the help. Um, the people of the South, the war might have ended, but the trauma begins now because there are people who will remain displaced, who have no homes, who would need support in finance, in rebuilding their homes, in trauma therapy, in different kind of support. And one of the things that I really refuse to do or reach a point of doing is to say, sorry, I cannot help you anymore. I cannot live with myself the day that I have to say, sorry, I can't help you anymore. And I know my duty now as Ahla Fawda and the team is more than during the war because they will rely on us to support them in their return home. So if I am to ask for anything is please keep us in mind. Please pray for us because we still need a lot of prayers. And if you can support us in any way, we would really appreciate it because the journey begins now. And the mission of support really begins today, not yesterday.
Absolutely. Well, we'll make sure to link out all of the resources we can to help accomplish that and to spread your word far and wide. And you certainly are going to be remaining in our thoughts for a long time. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
it's been really great talking to you, Imane.
Likewise, and good to see you guys again.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
And I'm waiting for you, Milos, to come to Beirut. And
I
Adi.
know. I will run over as soon as I can.
Our summer is great, so don't leave it too long.
This has been an episode of the St. Martin's Cloak podcast. Today is June 23rd, 2026. Thank you all for listening, and take care.